we would begin a new Maimer, a new Hasidic discourse from the 11th of Nisan, Tovshem Mem Gimel, 1983. 11th of Nisan being the Rebbe's birthday. The Rebbe would commemorate, he would speak, make a Fabrengen, a gathering, and at the Fabrengen the Rebbe would also deliver a Hasidic discourse. Usually, because of the season, that it's a few days before Passover, before Pesach, the Rebbe would deliver a Hasidic discourse on the topic of Pesach. So the same is also in regards to this Maimer. The 11th of Nisan 1983 is a Maimer that the Rebbe began with a verse that relates to the upcoming redemption as it reflects the redemption from Egypt. So the Maimer begins, that as the days that you went out from Mitzrayim, from Egypt, I will show you wonders in the upcoming redemption. It is known the diuk, the question of our Rabbeim, the leaders of Chabad, Madua maskirim in Yetzias Mitzrayim, Gabe Gula Hasida, Love B'meira V'yameinu Mamish. Why do we mention the redemption, the redemption of going out from Egypt in relationship to the upcoming redemption, which will be coming very soon? Shemadgishim u'medaikim, they stress, the Rabbeim, the leaders stress, and they elaborate, Medaikim, Shegula zutiyeh k'mei Yetzias Mitzrayim, that this Geula will be like Yetzias Mitzrayim. Which means that in the verse, Ki made says Chameretz Mitzrayim Aran Flow, is the same sense that when they went out from Egypt, so they had the redemption with its qualities, the same thing will also be in the upcoming redemption. It is also known the diuk as he elaborates in the Zohar, what it says, Ki made says Chalosh and Rabbim. Why does it say Ki made says in plural form? The redemption from Mitzrayim took place in one day, or according to one verse, it was Vahi Be'etzem Alayla, Chatzi Alayla, midnight, or was in the daytime, as Rashi explains that there were two phases. The midst of the day they went out of Egypt, the 15th of Nisan, which happens to be that this year is exactly the same calendar setting as the time they went out from Mitzrayim, on a Thursday. First day Pesach is Thursday. So the question is, why does it say Kimei, plural, as the days that they left Egypt? And we also need to understand what are the general mitzvah of the remembering Mitzias Mitzrayim, that we need to remember it, we need to mention it twice every day, in the morning and in the evening, which is the time that we read the Shema. Why is it important that in the Zikaron, in the remembering, we have to stress that we went out from Egypt, that it was the exile of Egypt, and not the primary fact that it was going out from slavery to freedom and from exile to redemption. This is also applicable, it is also relevant when we go out from the exile of Babylonia, and also the other exiles. So why is it stressed that it has to be Golus Mitzrayim? They went out from Mitzrayim, which is an interesting, unusual question. We don't find it too much in Chassidus, the question, why do we mention Mitzrayim? Why? It's enough, sufficient, we should just say they went out of Golus. And the word Golus, exile, in a broader sense, includes all the exiles, Babylon and all the exiles. It is known and explained in many places. Everything that comes down in a practical sense in the service to the Creator is related to this with the same related, and it reflects the same idea as it is in a spiritual service, as it is a service in this on the level of the soul of a person. This is also how is it literally. A person is composed from two factors, the neshama, the body, and the neshama, the soul, and the body. So therefore, a person has to look, what is the service on the level of the body, and what is the service on the level of the neshama. V'oiker hu neshama, and the main part of the person, the priority of the person, primary part of the person is the neshama, his soul. V'lachein kol inyonav hagashmiyim kshurim im inyoni haneshama shem inyonim ruchnim. All the physical objects of the person, the physical features of the person are connected with the spiritual features and matters as they are reflected in the neshama of the person, which are spiritual, which means one reflects the other. And especially as the Alter Rebbe says in Tanya, that that the personal traits that a person has in this physical world is a chain of the higher attributes. Comes from the higher attributes, the higher spheres. And the personal traits come from the 10 personal traits come from the 10 attributes. So b'meila ruchnis and gashmis goes together. The adarab, on the contrary, the ikar, the spiritual, what's more, the priority, the ultimate goal, and the priority, it is the spiritual matter, how it's in the spiritual level. Although when it comes to Peil, comes to practical sense, we say Hamaisu Oikar, which means that this is where the whole stress is. The deed is the priority. The deed is in this physical world. And it's the lowest level of the person. The deed is the lowest level of the person. The other extreme of his mind and intellect. So although we say that the main thing is the Maisa, but what is accomplished through the Aveda of a person in this physical world, it is the ultimate goal is what is accomplished through his service, through his deed, on a higher level, on a spiritual level. From this we understand that the spiritual service captures a concept and also a higher level, a higher and a more distinguished level, because it is actually touching the higher spheres, and this is what the ultimate goal is. Because when a person does something, whatever a person does, he is actually touching the highest worlds, as we had it in a previous discourse that the Alter Rebbe says. The name of the Mezritcher Magid, the name of the Baal Shem Tov. Dam alamayla mimoch. A person should know that whatever is higher than him, mimoch, is dependent on you. And it is also mentioned in the Rachayim HaKodesh, in Parsha Bahar, V'chiyomoch ochicho. It says when your brother will become poor. He says, what does it mean, poverty street? What does it mean, brother? He says that, so he writes over there that all the inyanim that we do here are channels through which we have we are instrumental in the higher worlds. So therefore, the Rebbe says, in many things, the service, the spiritual service, is the priority. Which means actually the Rebbe is saying two things here. If we look at it, we see the Rebbe is like including two things. One, that although the deed is the priority, but the purpose of the deed, the ultimate goal of the deed, is to touch in the higher worlds, the spiritual realms. This is the first level. This is the first idea, that the ultimate goal is the spiritual levels. Another inyan b'negea to another basic concept is, the Rebbe adds, that in many things we find that the spiritual level is actually what is domineering, which is actually what is the priority also in this physical world, not only in the higher worlds, but also in this physical world. So the Rebbe continues, the same thing is also in regards to the gate and the ladder through which Teiro mitzvahs elevate. Which means two things, the shar and the sulam, the gate and the ladder. Which basically, this is also connected with a inyan that the Rebbe brings in the Alter Rebbe brings it in Tanya, in the section of the letters, the fourth section, and